Hello there, friends across the world. Um, I would say I won this battle, but not necessarily the war, because on the battlefield of life, there's always challenges and there's always opportunities to take the advantage and advance your operation or your front. So, what I learned from the Taliban, actually, and from terrorist groups was how to uh, conduct asymmetrical warfare in order to win. The Viet Cong did the same thing, and other forces, say like the infiltrators of the Second World War, the resistance fighters, with the Liberator pistols and stuff like that. Spy games are even more important now than they ever were, because it takes an intelligent person to see the forest for the trees. So I was not trying to actually, no, that's a lie. I was antagonizing the Air Force for a reason. And the reason was rejection for a financial situation. And when someone, especially a cadet, gets ignored, they're rightfully justified in being angry. Because when you dedicate your life to something and you get refused because of whatever judgmentalism, egos, or sentiments, or political leanings and stuff like that, cultural movements, disagreements, or someone that you just don't like, these things have no place in a fighting force. They have no place in combat, because when egos prevail, systems fail. And the smartest thing you can do is not get into a fight, right? So this is it. This is a huge embarrassment, for the Air Force to block an air cadet or a former air cadet because of, I don't know, stigma or whatever else, whatever orders, whatever person's career, whatever person was threatened by a single person with too much time on his hands because he had a point to prove. And the point was that we're all vulnerable and we must remain vigilant. But we can't assume. Don't ever assume that someone online is your enemy. Because I'm not an enemy. I used to love the Air Force. I used to love cadets. I used to love passionately aviation. I'll get into that in a second here after this cut. Hello, everyone. So, after that proof in the pudding, so to speak, because as I've said before in the history of propaganda, when someone blocks you online, it's antisocial behavior. And it appears that I have tickled the wrong fancy, because also the AME Association of Ontario has blocked me. I struck a nerve, because the older people within these organizations are so terrified of the internet. They don't know how to deal with young people. They're so far removed from, it's the age-old problem. The top of the chain of command doesn't know what the bottom of the chain of the command is doing. They don't know how to relate to each other because they don't speak the same language. You have the educated and the uneducated, but you have the skilled and you have the competent. Okay? So, because everybody has something to offer. And what I had to offer was penetrative testing, because the weakest part in any system is the people. Right? I've dedicated my life to aviation and to art. And I can understand, that, I'm not the most popular person in Canadian aviation. I'm not the most popular person in my entire life. I have few friends, right? I have very few close friends. I have a lot of professional associations. I have people that I would call professional friends or work friends, but we don't hang out very much. right? Because we see each other every day or whatever it is, and you kind of get sick of other people. It's just the way life is, right? It's just the way it is. And in this era of super connectivity, right, this digital frontier, we're facing threats to sovereignty, integrity, and so on and so forth. The superlative descriptors that I could say, but this is a life lesson. Some people in the chain of command of these armed forces might say, "Why we didn't need to know this? We already knew this," But that's arrogance, and that's complacency, because the baker's dirty dozen, right? The sequence of events and decisions that lead to an accident, an incident, or a disaster, right? And the ways by which manipulative people use, through their charisma and their public image and their social ties, to destroy and corrupt other people, to coerce them, to manipulate, to domineer, whatever, bombardier, whatever bombs we're dropping wherever we go. These truth bombs, figures of speech. This facade of narcissism that is the internet, that has influenced every single person, whether we like it or not, and has individually atomized every single person, so that we're pointing fingers in a Mexican standoff at every single person. Right? We live, because of the internet at this point, the post-internet epoch, if not by if not by mistake, but by intent, to divide the entire population through demoralization, so that no one wants to fight, no one is unified, no one wants to be loyal to anyone else. Stronger together instead of apart, but broken into a Google of pieces. In the past couple of years, I have been through absolute hell. And the stigma, because I'm going to say it outright. People, they present a face, but then they don't hire you because you stood up, you spoke out, and you're a threat to their livelihood and their position in life. But you know what? That's not my problem. That's your problem. To think that one person could change the world is absolutely true now, because of the internet and because of the advancements and the wonder and the amazing feats of human intellectual capability. Because that's what it is. That's what it is to see me, put this up on YouTube or wherever else, and to have an interactive conversation, but everyone is so burnt out that nobody wants to interact with anybody, especially after COVID. Right? The anxiety and the paranoia is real. The depression. How many young people of my generation are on antidepressants or other kinds of medication for psychological conditions, for psychiatric treatments? This is my point, okay? The CMHA was calling, this an endemic, right? This mental health endemic, because we're not treating people the way that we need to treat people, and younger people are just not the same as the older generations. We are not the same. We just aren't. And the older generations do not know or understand how to treat us. Because we've been brought up around all of this information and the stimuli, that we're the smartest people. We're the most capable, the most intelligent. And this is by no means of insult to older people, because, it just takes a different application of such. And one of the ideas that I came to conclusion was, well, okay, so the forces, these militaries, they have recruitment issues. They have retainability problems, and that's because of woke ideology and culture. So cultural Marxism, gay elitism, and transgenderism. That's the truth of the matter, because normies, all right, so straight white people, or the not even just straight white people, but straight people in general, are tired of this shit. We're tired of this shit. We're tired of this being thrusted into the foreground. And these people have been given over-representation, and they've been and then that same goes for other minorities social movements. Too much exposure, and then the greatest minds of our generation end up killing themselves because they can't make any headway, and because they get put into these isolated digital prisons, echo chambers, and the only thing that they hear is their own voices. And that's the truth. That's the world that we live in 2023. And there are no secrets on the internet. And I was just reading a short post by it was an Air Force NCO group on Facebook, right? You can't stop the spread of information. Or to make a reference to a video game, you can't stop the blacklist. So what's the blacklist? The blacklist is all the people that have been burned because they were good people. And that's how you make an enemy, and that's how you make a villain out of caring individuals. That's the truth. The people that care the most, the people that are the strongest, are the ones to break first. It's an age-old wisdom. So this is my decent proposal. Okay? I have proven that if someone has the motivation, they'll put themselves out there to be found. Because it's a tragedy not to be found. Right? Everyone gets lost in their lives. Everyone makes mistakes. And these attitudes of the old world, the misjudgments, the misinterpretation, the misunderstandings, because you don't have all the information in front of you, and you're only seeing what the person wants you to see. And these psychologists and these tech bros together that created this mouse utopia experiment with the drugged water, where there's this clusterfuck of elements within North America because of different factors like environmental contamination, the 24-hour news cycle, the spread of misinformation, a lack of media literacy, these propaganda elements of racism and of phobias and stuff like that. These means of censorship, so that we cannot critique and we cannot speak out. And you know what? That's encroaching on dictatorship, where the opposing and differing voices get put into a concentration camp and then killed. It's not just about the Jews anymore. This is why I said that this doctrine was out of date, even though I'm only 50 pages in. It's very formal, right? Very, we're the Air Force. We know exactly what we're doing. And we're going to go by this plan no matter what. But the age-old wisdom is, no plan survives the first 5 minutes of battle or conflict. And you require creative minds and a special force to combat the threats that you didn't think were there on the battlefield of life. The most important people within a fighting force are the veterans and the cadets. Not just that doesn't that I don't say that to denigrate or put down the people that come to the military from all walks of life, that don't have any familiarity, don't have any family connection, don't have any patriotism. They join because they have no other option. And because if they don't do something with their lives, they'll continue the same cycle of poverty. This is the matter of human interactions, right? So in my interactions where I'm getting stonewalled because they don't want to encourage narcissistic behaviors. They don't want to encourage any kind of open communication because I'm a stupid civilian, but I tell you, I've been in and around secret projects right in front of my face. So you tell me who's trustworthy. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I don't want the power that I have to corrupt myself and other people. And the knowledge that I have has ruined a lot of things for me. It really has. And, it's not easy being an intelligent person because you tend, at some points, you tend to overanalyze and only see the problems of other people. Or only see how other people are threatening you. And the same thing for hypervigilance and people that have PTSD or are suicidal even because they're so delicate. And again, a lot of people attempt suicide for attention. They don't feel like there's any other way, that their life is over, and because there's no support and because of chemical imbalances or threats to their life. Dignity and dishonor. But there's honor in defeat because you learn more from your failures than you ever will from your victories. So, having babbled a little bit, and thank you for sticking around. All I'm going to say is the division. Okay? This is how you should recruit people now. Because that's how good the technology is. And young people will love that shit. Because everybody has oversharing anyways, right? You can, even if they don't share very much, you can still find the crumbles of the cookies behind them. And this is why you don't have the reach, right? So you need a reacher. Not everyone is on the internet. And those people are the hardest to get to reach, and bring back to life. Because to some people, the military is their entire life. It's their identity. It's their family. It's their community. And when we take people's identities away and try and attempt to make them into robots, not just lean, mean killing machines, okay? Because, the military isn't just about killing people. And when we lose touch with the ideological basis, the ethos, the pathos, and the logos of service to other people, then we lose everything. Thanks for listening. And I hope the life lesson has been learned. Because all I ever wanted to do in my life was mean something to myself and to other people. To have meaning, to have fulfillment, and to die a happy man.